Thank you very much for staying with us. Welcome to the business segment on News 360. My name is Martin Esiedu Date, and here, your business is my business. Straight to the details now. The coordinator of Third World Network Ghana, Dr. Yao Graham, says that poor public policy and leadership are major factors affecting Africa's development. He explains that policy disconnections make it difficult for proper implementation to achieve the right results.
Launching the Economic Development in Africa Report 2015 in Accra on the theme Unlocking the Potential of Africa's Services Trade for Growth and Development, Dr. Yao Graham urged Africa to bridge the policy disconnection of the services trade for sustainable economic development. The report indicates Africa accounts for 15% of the world's population but only 2.2% of global exports, which shows the huge untapped potential for the service sector. According to Dr. Graham, there has been a consistency in the growing share of the service sector, employing 1/3 of the labor force but characterized by low productivity.
The decline of manufacturing and also the reduction of population in agriculture. The report identifies what it calls infrastructural services, which includes transport, energy, telecom, finance, utilities, as critical for economic development, structural transformation.
He underscored the fact that leaders in Africa, and for that matter Ghana, do not take planning seriously. The Director of Research and Business Development at Ghana Investment Promotion Council, Austin Otu, stressed regional integration and workable policies are needed for growth in the service trade.
We're talking about the integration of West Africa. There is necessity for our leadership to be thinking of clearing barriers in trade, and that can enhance our production and trade facilitation.
The experts at the launch agreed the fact that there is the need for effective regulations that will ensure policy coherence.
Now, the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ASAP, has called on government to scrap off the 2 weeks review of petroleum prices products and adopt a daily adjustment. Now, the energy policy think tank is of the view that consumers would benefit from the realistic price of the world market.
Prices of petroleum products are reviewed every 2 weeks by the oil marketing companies since the implementation of the deregulation policy. The price of petroleum products have been increased by 18% since June 16. The African Center for Energy Policy says Ghanaians would not have been burdened with a higher increment if the adjustment was done daily.
We are advocating that there should be daily adjustment. If you see the effect of daily depreciation in prices, it will not be biting as when they are to take the average, bi-weekly depreciation of the cedi. ASAP
again called on the National Petroleum Authority to take its hands off setting ceiling price for the oil marketing companies. Currently, 7 taxes and levies are being charged by government on the prices of petroleum products. ASAP is calling on the abolishment of 4 of the levies, explaining that the charges only puts burden on consumers.
Government should abolish the following taxes, levies: toll debt recovery levy of 8 pesos per litre, the exploration levy, the road fund levy of 7.3 pesos per litre. Bust margin should also be abolished because it is not meant for strategic reserve but for infrastructure.
The energy policy think tank urged the oil marketing companies to reduce the prices of their petroleum products in the next review due to the appreciating cedi.
And I'm sure if you've been monitoring events in the media, the biggest story on the business front that broke since morning has to do with hundreds of workers belonging to the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU. They earlier today in Tema protested over growing economic difficulties. Now, the General Secretary, Solomon Kote, who led the protesters, asked government to institute pragmatic solutions to tackle the current economic hardship.
The protesters gathered at the forecourt of the Municipal Assembly ahead of the march. Led by their General Secretary Solomon Kote, they presented a petition to the Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive Ni Ashai Odamitem for onward transmission to the government. Soon after, the workers hit the streets in a peaceful march dubbed "The State of the Economy, Negative Effect on the Ghanaian Workers." Solomon Kotei enumerated concerns of workers in the petition.
We are telling Mr. President, if there are found reasons to withdraw all the subsidies that were giving us relief as Ghanaians, because the meaning of the subsidies that the taxes that me and you pay, some of them are reserved and placed to reduce these essential commodities that we all enjoy. If by reason of coming together by IMF, this policy had to be abrogated, then we are saying, Mr. President, show us compassion, because the employers are now telling us this is the effect of the doom saw. They are telling us this is the effect of the dollar CD parity. They are telling us this is the effect of the water increases, etc., etc., etc.
He called on government to institute policies aimed at increasing salaries of workers.
We are therefore asking the President, if indeed they think about the ordinary Ghanaian and they think about the poor worker, this is about time that the overtime tax should be scrapped. The overtime tax should be scrapped, because taxes on overtime is even more than the net of the calculation that comes to us. We can't allow this to continue. People are suffering out of these things.
In other business news, Ghana risks a ban on non-traditional exports to the European Union as 322 alerts of contaminated vegetables have been raised in the first half of this year alone. According to the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Gideon Kwaku, this development will make it difficult to achieve the $5 billion target as export proceeds from the sector by the 2019 deadline.
The European Union over the years has been the largest market destination for non-traditional export in Ghana. In 2013, Ghana gained $768.6 million. This was increased in 2014 with an amount of $955.9 million, representing 38.03%. This development was mainly due to an increase in the export of cacao paste to France. ECOWAS places second with Ghana as the largest export market destination, representing 30.22% in 2014. However, Ghana is likely to face a ban on non-traditional exports to the EU as alerts of contaminated vegetables have been raised.
If you keep receiving alerts, the target country, that is the country that is experiencing the alerts, will have to act on it. And so when they see a recurrence and a recurrence and a recurrence, then you potentially could even experience a ban of that particular item or items. Of course, that will be dire in terms of its impact on the economy. Because we're talking about an export-driven economy, then that means that the export sector must be robust and free of obstacles and any hindrance.
At the moment, non-traditional exports contribute close to 20% to the country's economy. Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Gideon Kwaku, recommends that world-class inspection facilities be placed at the airport to conduct vigorous checks before products are granted permit for export.
It would have to be an inspection and quarantine facility that allows for inspectors to use equipment, sometimes sophisticated equipment, to examine items that are brought for inspection prior to being shipped out of this country. In our situation, where we are looking to double our export revenues between now and 2019 and pretty much reach a $5 billion US target, we cannot afford any reductions, period. You know, even without any bans and anything like that, we still have to work like the Dickon.
He called on Ghanaian banks to give maximum support to exporters to help grow the industry. He suggested stakeholders in the export sector pay particular attention to increase supply volumes, ensure high quality standards, and take required risk to embrace market expansion of their product.
That's it for business on News 360. My name is Martin Asiedu Date.